It's stupid, it's cheesy, it's over the top, it goes all around the world. It has a tank, and I'm not talking about The Rock. It's implausible, it's ridiculous, and it's crazy, and I wouldn't have it any other fucking way. I'm all out of adjectives. No, wait, I got one more.
This is what 100 million buys, huh? It wasn't that hard to find you, Toretto.
Wasn't hiding.
Last week, a team of highly coordinated drivers took down an entire military convoy.
You know Rio was my last job.
Oh, I know you didn't do it. But you're gonna help me take down the team that did.
And why is that, Hobbs?
Been chasing this crew across 12 countries. This was taken a week ago.
It's impossible.
I need your help, Dom. I need your team.
Why do I smell baby oil?
You keep running your pie hole, you're gonna smell an ass kicking.
You got the best crew in the world standing right in front of you. Give them a reason to stay.
Our target's Owen Shaw, former Spec Ops soldier. For years, they've been running jobs in Europe, but it's our most recent jobs that graduated them to a whole new level. The loss of life is unthinkable. I'm offering you a chance to make your family whole again.
You get us close to Letty and we'll get you Shaw. And you give us full pardons all the way around.
I can't promise you that.
That's the deal. Take it or leave it.
Must the trailer always interrupt me? Now, Fast and Furious 6. Well, first I'm going to tell you what I thought of the first and second movies. They were fine, you know. Just dumb fun, you know. Cars, explosions, all that good stuff. Tokyo Drift was pretty good too. I like that movie. Fast and the Furious? Yeah, I'm calling it Fast and Furious. Thank James Rolfe for that. Yeah. I didn't like Fast and Furious. I don't know. It was just weird. Had some weird elements to it. It was confusing, yet at the same time predictable, and a little bit pretentious. But yeah, I didn't really like it. Fast 5, on the other hand, I thought it was a really good movie. Not a great movie, not a masterpiece, but you know, it brought the franchise back to where it was, and it started taking itself a little less seriously than it did before. You know, probably because it brought the rating down to a 12A from 15, and it was really fun. It was really, the thing is with these movies is that you don't go in there for story, you don't go in there for characters, you don't go in for, plot or anything like that. You go in there to see shit get fucked up. And have a big smile on your face while it happens. And this brings us to Fast and Furious 6. And, well, basically, the premise is that there's another gang of criminals that are causing havoc, that are wreaking havoc in London. They're, basically doing what this other team of criminals is doing. So, Hobbs, played by The Rock, he finds Vin Diesel pretty damn easily. So, what was he doing at the end of Fast 5 after the credits, if you can find... But, yeah, he finds him, and, he has to find the good criminals to take out the bad criminals. Yay. And, Vin Diesel, I should call him Toretto, he's just basically like, okay, now we're fine, we're happy now, we're doing our own thing. And then he shows him a picture of Letty, played by Michelle Rodriguez, and who was supposed to have died in the first in Fast and Furious. It should be noted that this movie, it's more of a sequel to the Fast and the Furious more than it's a sequel to the Fast Five, because it incorporates a lot of what happened in that movie into this plot. I mean, yeah, there's, the characters from Fast Five return. There's, little throwbacks here and there, but it's just like, okay, oh yeah, you're the guys that did this in Rio. Oh yeah, what did you do in Rio? And that's about it. And basically, Michelle Rodriguez, like I said, she returns, and she's lost her memory. And she doesn't, I'm not sure if it's amnesia or whether she got lobotomized. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the former. The latter would actually be interesting. But yeah, and obviously she's conflicted about what her team is doing, and she doesn't really approve of their practices or anything. And she's like the only one with a little bit of sense. Like when they're going across that bridge of the tank, she's just like, "Yeah, what are you doing? This wasn't part of the plan," which is called for, "I'm secretly a good guy. I don't want to do this," But yeah, that's the premise. What I liked about the movie, I liked the action for the most part. I say for the most part. I like the characters, like their relationships growing. Like, these characters are like sort of the most likable, unlikable characters, because they're criminals. They do bad shit, but in the end, you end up rooting for them. It's an anti-hero kind of thing. But yeah, I like the relationships that grew between, especially the one between Han and Giselle. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And that ultimately leads into what happens later. So yeah, and then there's the comic relief between Roman Pierce and Tej. And I liked that. Oh, spoilers, by the way. I liked that they kept that they made it so that Michelle Rodriguez didn't miraculously regain her memory out of sheer plot convenience or anything like that. And yeah, that's pretty much what I liked about it. The story, generic, good guys facing bad guys, even though in the grand scheme of things they're both bad guys. My favorite scene in the movie has to be The Rock. He's awesome, as always. I dare even say he's probably the best. Most likely the best character in the movie. If only because, he's just pure badass throughout. But yeah, my favorite scene in the movie has to be when they're on the runway, but ironically enough, it has nothing to do with cars. It's just a fight between the bad guy called Shaw and this huge SAS character. And, it's basically a tag team match between Vin Diesel and The Rock. So that was awesome. That was fun to see. And yeah, that's pretty much what I liked about the movie. I think in this case, the negatives may outweigh the positives in this regard. For one thing, like I said, the action I liked for the most part. I say that because at times it got the shaky cam got a little out of control, whoa. And it wasn't too bad, but at points I felt like I didn't know what was going on, who was doing what, or anything like that. So that bothered me. And then the part of the climax, on the runway, that bothered me because at times it was so dark and I couldn't make out what was happening. And that just really bothered me. And there was a lot happening on this runway too. There was a lot happening inside the plane, with quite possibly the most nonchalant pilots I've ever seen. It's just oh wait, oh we're being attacked. Oh, we should do something. Should we do something? Oh, yeah, maybe we should wait. Wait, look, there's a car over there, and there's a car over there. And I don't know whether that was bad directing or just bad acting, but it didn't feel like they were in any danger whatsoever. But the whole scene in general, I will give a props for one thing though. At the end, not at the end, during the fight scene, the relationship between Han and Giselle, like I said, I liked it. I liked the relationship developing throughout the movie. And Giselle dies, but she goes out like a badass. Basically, there, from what I can make out, they were kind of like, they were in a car hanging onto the wing of the plane, and the plane sort of took off, but not quite in the sense that, because it was carrying too much weight, and yeah, they were like basically hanging on for dear life, and Han held on to each other and just said, "Yeah, I got you." And then there was a guy that was coming up behind Han, and in an attempt to save him, she jumped off and shot the guy and basically just disappeared, and she died. Sorry to say. But then Han turns into a badass and just starts wailing on the guy and then just throws him into the engine, and that was just an awesome moment. So I'll give her props for that, and obviously the tag team match that happened. But the rest of it, I could barely make out what was happening, especially on the outside. The inside, even on the inside, again, they had the shaky cam, the jittering, and the a little bit of choppy editing, and I don't know, it felt like they weren't sure who to stay focused on, whether to stay focused on Vin Diesel or whether to stay focused on Paul Walker, or whether to stay focused on what was happening on the outside with Tej and Roman, and yeah. It just, I don't know, it just wasn't a great climax for me. It was a good climax, but not a great one. Another thing is, the movie has quite a bit of padding. For one thing, there was a street race. This was like the only street race, and it never got finished. It was more about Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez, and it was actually quite a stimulating race. It was like a little bit of sexual tension. But yeah, poor Ritora. She's probably waiting at the finish line right now. Yeah, Ritora makes a cameo, by the way. She looks sexy as hell. But yeah, that race, it seemed sort of pointless. I wouldn't say completely pointless, because at the end we get a scene with Shaw and Vin Diesel and a little bit of exposition about family and how family makes them vulnerable. And it was actually pretty clever what he did, because Shaw says, "Yeah, I'm gonna come after your family if you don't walk away." And I think Vin Diesel thought, "Oh, you're gonna come after me and my criminal family," as in me, Roman, Brian, and Hobbs. But he actually goes after Vin Diesel's sister. Vin Diesel's sister and Brian's kid. And that was actually pretty clever. Although how they figured out where they were and what they were doing, again, it's probably nitpicking. But yeah, then there's a part where Brian goes up to see Praga, who was the villain of Fast and the Furious. See, I'm getting tongue-tied with these titles. But yeah, he goes up to see him because apparently Praga was connected to Shaw and they have some kind of connection, and Brian goes up there to see Praga and basically has to get thrown into prison in order to talk to him. And he just comes back with 50% common sense and 50% shit they already knew. The common sense is that, Shaw will only let you get close if he wants you to get close. and then the shit they already knew, oh, Letty lost her memory, blah 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 blah, and in the end it just felt really pointless and just completely boring. And yeah, I'm still trying to think why they did that. Did this Braga character have a huge fan base that you had to come back and deliver this information that we already knew? I don't know. Yeah, that's one thing. That's another thing I didn't like about the movie. Another thing is, another issue is the pacing of this movie. It felt really off, especially in comparison to Fast Five. Because, Fast Five basically had it like, oh, okay, here's a bit of action, here's some exposition, here's some character, and then we're going to gently move you back into the action. It worked as a sort of cycle, basically. But here it just felt like, okay, action scene, okay, we got 2 minutes, put in some exposition, okay, action, okay, let's put in some character development, okay, action, okay, okay, some more exposition, and in the end it just, I know it's an action movie, but even then, for me personally, I need time to breathe, time to take in the action and, really appreciate it. And this movie didn't really do that very well. There was downtime, and like I said, the scene between Shaw and Toretto is probably the best example of, exposition done well. And then, but the rest of it, I don't know. It just felt like it was like constantly throwing action at you rather than gently leading you into it. Another thing is the characters themselves. Here it just felt like they were brought back for the sake of, fan service or whatever. Because they didn't serve much of a role here. Like, Tej, he just felt like he was there. Roman, he felt like he was there. Granted, they did bring us some comic relief, but in terms of the plot, they didn't really contribute much. Because with Fast Five, they clearly explained, why they're bringing these characters back, what they're going to do, and what their roles were on the team. And obviously, along the way, that got thrown out the window. But, yeah, it helped to know what they were doing. And another thing is, they explained things, they explained why they were doing things, and as such, it felt like, the audience, they felt like they were part of the team, they were in the room with them, essentially. But, yeah, here they didn't really seem to serve much of a purpose. At least for me. But, I'm not sure if there's anything else I really disliked about. Oh, yeah. The twist. Now, I gotta admit, this twist with Riley, played by Gina Carano, was an MMA fighter who will kick your ass, by the way. Her twist, of her, basically being a plant or being part of Shaw's team the whole time, it did catch me by surprise, but I don't think it was for the right reasons, because in the end it left no impact on the story, because we know next to nothing about her as a character, and it just probably served as a reason for her to fight Michelle Rodriguez again, which, I don't know, they're on opposite teams now, which is exactly the same as it was before, but Letty was on the same team she was, in which case, why were they fighting each other? If they're on the same team, wouldn't they let Letty know so that they would avoid each other, to avoid arousing suspicion? And then, when you really get down to it, this is really fucking confusing. But, yeah, like I said, it didn't leave any impact on the plot, and yeah, I'll give them the props for catching me by surprise, even if it was for the wrong reason. But yeah, that's one of the things that, and then there's the other twist, and this is a nitpick, but after the climax, after everyone settled down, they show what happened in Tokyo Drift. If anyone's seen Tokyo Drift, they know that Han dies. But we never find out who his killer actually was. And what here we find out is Jason Statham. And I can see this coming from a mile away, that he shot his brother. And I really did that only because they're both British. And the other guy, by the way, the guy who played Shaw, his British accent, I'm not sure where the guy is originally from or anything, but he was the least convincing British guy I've ever heard. Rita Ora in her 4 seconds of cameo sounded more authentic than him. But Rita Ora is British anyway. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Jason Statham is going to be the brother of Shaw. But yeah, the thing that bothers me is that, yeah, if they just changed the camera angle in Tokyo Drift, we could have found out who it was. But yeah, like I said, nitpick. But yeah, I think that's about all I have to say about what I didn't like. In the end, I would recommend it. I'd say it's still a good movie. At the end of the day, it's dumb fun. It's not something you expect a whole hell of a lot out of. But I thought it was a good movie, all things considered. And just not as good as Fast 5, and it didn't really live up to my expectations. Now, don't get me wrong, I didn't have like high expectations for this movie or anything. It's just, the action didn't really was somewhat nauseating. And it didn't really do a whole hell of a lot for me, and when they can't get the action right at some parts, it brings it down a peg for me. But it's still good. I still say go and check it out, especially if you're a Fast 5 fan, or a Fast and Furious fan in general. But also if you're just looking for some time to kill or anything like that, and you just figure, I'm going to go check out a movie, go and check it out, It's not terrible or anything. But yeah, I think that's with that said. That's all I have to say about that. Show's over, motherfuckers.
Ride or die.
We're not dealing with cops. We're drug dealers. I've never seen this before.
This code you live by makes you predictable. In our line of work, predictable means vulnerable. I can reach out and break you whenever I want.
You believe in ghosts?
Maybe the Letty we once knew is gone.
You don't turn your back on them, even when they do.
Life in the fast lane, the next speed of life and I can't slow down. You gotta stop it in the gas tank. I'm on that fast line, so I can't stop.
Guys, they got a tank.
Damn.
We talking vehicular warfare.
This is not what we do.